Welcome once again to the official Colorado Sports Hall of Fame podcast. I'm Dave Plati.
And I'm Jim Saccomano. We are your co-hosts with over 90 years of experience combined working in Colorado sports. Myself with the Denver Broncos and Dave with the CU Buffaloes. And both of us with the iconic Denver Bears, among our many other experiences.
We've been revealing 150 significant moments in Colorado sports history. The state's 150th birthday is 10 days away on August 1st, the date in 1876 that Colorado was admitted to the Union as the 38th state. A veteran committee ranked the top 50 of those moments, all culled from over 2,000 that have been collected. Those are ranked by 19 people on that committee with over 800 years combined of covering and/or working in Colorado sports.
We are now into the top 10 of those moments, as we have covered numbers 10 through 150 in our previous podcasts. The top 50 moments were debated and then ranked by the committee. For numbers 51 through 150, we covered all areas of the state and most, if not of all sports, but we were still very significant moments. We're archived completely on the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame website with our podcasts. Just go to coloradosports.org, click on the sport menu bar, and then top 150 moments or podcasts.
But first, here's two moments in Colorado sports history that weren't in those 150.
On May 29th, 1950, a group headed by Will F. Nicholson, Ed Nicholson, and Charles Betcher III completed a deal to move the United States Hockey League's Minneapolis Millers to Denver, the city's first professional hockey team. They renamed it the Falcons, and they went on to finish 31, 31, and 2 for third place, but lost to Omaha in 5 games in the playoff semifinals. George Bus Agar led the team in scoring with 82 points, 31 goals, 51 assists.
And on October 10th, 1975, Denver's expansion franchise, maintaining its minor league nickname, the Spurs, made its debut in the World Hockey Association. Most fans didn't consider it Major League Hockey, as only 5,016 attended McNichols Arena to see the Indianapolis Racers deal the home team a 7-1 defeat. Francois Rochon scored Denver's first ever goal in a power play at 7:22 of the first period, giving the Spurs 1-0 lead it held for just over 2 minutes.
This is Mark Johnson, voice of the Colorado Buffaloes. As we count down the greatest moments in Colorado sports history, it's worth remembering that great sports moments don't just happen. They're built on preparation, resilience, and staying healthy. And in Colorado, a great sports moment can mean something different to everyone, from Hall of Fame athletes to anyone who simply wants to keep moving. Whether you're chasing championships, personal bests, or just a pain-free morning run, the team at CU Sports Medicine and Performance Center delivers exceptional sports medicine care, from prevention and recovery to performance. Founded right here in Boulder, the CU Sports Medicine and Performance Center brings together CU medicine providers and Boulder community health clinicians to provide comprehensive care that's close to home and rooted in the community they serve. Learn more at cusportsmedicincenter.com.
And now our countdown continues.
The number 9 greatest moment in state of Colorado sports history.
On June 9th, 2001, Alex Tanguay scored twice and Captain Joe Sakic once to lead the Avalanche to a 3-1 win over the New Jersey Devils in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Patrick Waugh, who won the Conn Smythe Trophy as the MVP of the playoffs, made 25 saves, and the win gave longtime NHL veteran Ray Bourque his long-awaited cup in his 22nd and final season in the league. He lifted the cup second after being handed to him from Sakic. Tanguay scored the Avs' first 2 goals and assisted on the third.
At this time, we'd like to welcome our guest for this podcast, the past voice of numerous sports teams who I consider an icon, Norm Jones. Welcome to our show, Norm.
It's great to be with you guys.
Before we delve into the Avalanche's 2001 Stanley Cup season, Let's talk a little about you and your long history of announcing sports in Colorado. You had a long history, mostly as an announcer, with the Denver Spurs, the old Colorado Rockies, the Avalanche and DU in hockey, the Denver Bears and Zephyrs in baseball, and working 29 years for the NFL and the Broncos. Before you landed with the Avs, special memories from those other jobs? Imagine Joey Meyer's 582 home run is on your short list, and perhaps working with the legendary Don Cherry as well.
No question. I enjoyed the years, the baseball years with the Zephyrs, and certainly a memorable moment was Joey Meyer's blast. I'll never forget they painted the seat in the upper level of left field to show where the ball landed. It was a dramatic home run at that point in time, but it was terrific to be with the Zephyrs, and I remember the championship year against the Buffalo Bisons at that time, where they won the championship, did the Zephyrs. That was a tremendous memory for me, those years with the Zephyrs in that championship year.
I think that the home run is on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. The
Yeah,
Quebec Nordiques go up for sale, and owners paid $75 million for the franchise and move it to Denver. That seemed to happen fairly quick. What are your memories of that coming down?
well, it was really a great moment because I had really grown up with hockey in Colorado. I played high school hockey in Colorado Springs growing up. I loved the game, and it was the only place in the state they had any organized youth hockey was Colorado Springs in those days. Now, of course, hockey has exploded, and a lot of that due to the fact that the Avalanche arrived from Quebec City. But when that move was made, I think we were all very excited. The Rockies had been here previously and had left, and we thought that was the end of the line for NHL hockey. But to have the Avalanche arrive, the Nordiques, who became the Avalanche, was real special. And it really was a building moment as far as the sport of hockey in the state of Colorado. With the Avalanche arrival and their success that first year, hockey exploded, and now you have youth hockey, high school hockey, and of course college hockey for a number of years with University of Denver and Colorado College. So hockey's really developed a strong footing in the state of Colorado, and I think you can look back and say that the Avalanche had a great deal to do with that.
You know
So
that
the
old Rockies logo in those years with the old Bronco logo and Maxi Minor from the Nuggets? That might have been the logo high in the state.
Yeah, it was terrific the way they decided on the Avalanche logo. And it took some time to come up with that, but obviously it was very appropriate for the state of Colorado. I know some people complained about the fact, why would you honor avalanches with the problems that they present? But I think that was a great name for the team when they decided on that, and it certainly has been an important name for a team in Denver all these years and the state of Colorado.
So the Avs hit town in 1995, and you're hired as one of the radio voices. What was that experience like? How well was the team initially received? And of course, they go on to win the cup.
I think they were well received right off the bat. I mean, we were playing at Old McNichols Sports Arena in those days, and filled it immediately with the arrival of the Avalanche. We never had problems with attendance with the Avalanche that first year at McNichols, which was the case, of course, with the Rockies years earlier. The Avalanche level was not particularly strong, but with the Avalanche immediately well accepted, and the team came in, a very talented team that had good success in Quebec City. I think when the team came in, everybody knew it was a very young, talented team that would be very successful as far as the competitive level. And they showed that right off the bat. And as a result, the team was well accepted and played in front of sellout crowds at McNichols.
Arguably one of the three biggest trades in state history. You have David Thompson for the Nuggets. You have, excuse me, David Thompson for the Nuggets, and then Patrick Waugh going from Montreal to the Avs. He had gotten sideways with the Canadians, right? Just 2 years after he led them to the Cup with a 16-4 record.
Yeah, he did. It was a moment in which he did uh, become sideways with the Canadians. It was a game in which he was pulled, and he did say at that point in time he would not play for the Canadians again. Obviously, the Avalanche, having come from Quebec City, were able to make the trade. Had the team remained in Quebec City, I doubt very seriously that the Canadians would have made that trade because of the strong rivalry between Quebec City and Montreal. But the fact that the team had left, came to Colorado, the trade was made, and it was a huge, huge trade. That year, there were a lot of important items that happened during the year, but that certainly was the one item that really kicked the team off, I think, into a point where they looked to be very successful at the end of the year. Bringing a goaltender of Patrick Waugh's significance into the organization was something special.
Rivalries are born with Detroit and Dallas, as between the two, they eliminated the Avs 3 times in 4 years before the 0-1 Cup win. How big was the trade for Ray Bourque late in the 2000-2001 season in helping get over the hump to win a second Stanley Cup?
Well, it was huge. Of course, Raymond came in the year before they won the Cup, and the Avs had lost again to Dallas. That was 2 years in a row they lost to the Stars and put themselves out of the playoffs as a result of that. I'll never forget that the team was so keyed up in winning a cup for Ray Bourque when he arrived here. And his experience, leadership meant so much to the team. But in addition to that, the fact that he'd never won a Stanley Cup in all those years in Boston was really the most important thing that had developed after his arrival with the Avalanche. And that year that they lose his first part of the year, he came in during the season, when they lost to Dallas, I'll never forget the plane ride back to Denver after they were eliminated by the Stars before the 2001 season. This was 2000 rather season. I'll never forget the veterans on the team gathered in the back of the airplane and pulled together and said, "We're not going to let this happen again." They talked about 2001, I should say, on that airplane ride back after the defeat in Dallas, the ride back to Denver, talking about how they would make it happen the next year. And that's really where it all started, was on that airplane flight back to Denver after the loss to Dallas, that they were not going to let it happen again, that in 2001, they were going to win the Cup and we're going to do the things they needed to do to win the Cup. And of course, it meant the first and only Cup for Ray Bourque. So it was very interesting that it really started with that flight back from Dallas to Denver after the loss, that next season would be as successful as it was.
Well, he started the next season with a 9-0-2 record, and then he started to leave second place Edmonton in the Central Division totally in the dust by winning 10 games with 4 ties in January. Along the way, was now there a feeling that a second Stanley Cup was now in the cards?
I think the team all along felt that they had that in mind, that they wanted to be Stanley Cup champions. I really do. As I said, I think it all started before the season began, and the number of veteran guys on that team that had pulled the group together, very talented. I think at that point in time, Cup was really what they had in mind.
Colorado finishes with an NHL best 118 points, sweep Vancouver in 4 games in the first round of the playoffs. but Los Angeles took the Avs to 7 games in the conference semifinals, winning Game 1 in overtime and Game 6 in 2 overtimes to force Game 7. Do you recall if there was any panic setting in and that the pressure to win had escalated, being Bork's last season and possibly being eliminated again before reaching the finals?
Oh yeah, I think they felt certainly the pressure, but also Rob Blake. He had been brought in, a great defenseman from the L.A. Kings, a trade that the Avs had made and Pierre Lacroix had made during the year at the trade deadline to bring Rob Blake in. So you had Rob Blake, who had not won a cup with Los Angeles, and then Raymond Bourque, and of course, from Blake's perspective, this was his old team, the L.A. Kings. So the pressure was on to find a way to get through that series. The series started very well for the Avalanche. They jumped out to a 2-0 lead, as I remember, in games, and then all of a sudden things got a little difficult. But there was, a real sense of urgency. I don't think there's any question about that, not only for Ray Bourque, but Rob Blake, who had come into the team as a member of the team that they were playing, a former member of the team. So there was a lot of emphasis on moving on, not only for Ray Bourque, but for Rob Blake as well.
Well, it was 1-1 going to the third period with LA, but the Avs score 4 times and win 5-1. Big sigh of relief, no doubt. And then they beat the St. Louis Blues in 5 games to reach the Cup finals. The opponent, the old Colorado Rockies, the New Jersey Devils, who actually beat the Avs in the 2 regular season games very convincingly, 6-1 and 6-3. Were there any unusual concerns facing the Devils because maybe the matchups just weren't great considering those 2 regular season games?
Well, I think there was a concern. Heck, they're defending Stanley Cup champions. They had quite a run. The Devils had winning back-to-back Stanley Cups. So I think there was great concern that this would be a very stern test. But I think the fact that the team had gotten to this level, the focus was very, very strong as it relates to the approach the team would have in playing the Devils, a team that, of course, had great success. So I think the thought was it was going to be a very difficult series, and as it turned out, it did become a very difficult series as the series moved along.
Colorado won Game 1, 5-0, but the Devils won 3 of the next 4 to go up 3 games to 2 with Game 6 back in the Meadowlands. But the hometown fans have disappointed, as after Adam Foote scored a goal and assisted on 2 others, with Patrick Waugh stopping all 24 Devils shots for a 4-0 win. Game 7 is back in Denver. Would you rank this as perhaps the best clutch win in franchise history?
I think that win in Game 6 was absolutely critical. Obviously, the series would have been over, but the way Patrick Waugh played in the first period, particularly, had a strong game, but the first period, he was spectacular. The Devils had dominated the first period, but could not score against Patrick. And it took a goal from Adam Foote rather late in the period to change the whole momentum of the game. It looked as though the Devils were going to roll through the rest of the game. They had all the momentum in the first period, but could not beat Patrick Waugh. And then Adam Foote scores that goal, and it changed the whole complexion of the game at that point. That the Avs all of a sudden were back in the game, and obviously it led to the win that brought the series back to Denver.
And back in Denver, the Avs were in full control. Alex Tanguay scored twice and assisted on the third as Colorado built a 3-0 lead and would win 3-1. What was that moment like to experience? Because the first cup was won on the road. So what was it like to that experience in front of a hometown crowd and watching Sakic pass the trophy over to Bourque pretty immediately after the game ended?
Well, I think there was a lot of emotion for sure, and particularly as it related to Ray Bourque. I'll remember his family watching the game, and they were in tears because of the fact that Ray was going to win the cup for his first time in his wonderful career. It was a game that the Avs really felt as though they were in control. As you mentioned, Tanguay scores the first two goals, very important. And when the game was over, the thrill and excitement was at the best level you can imagine. It was wonderful, and there was no question that I think Joe all along had planned to give the cup to Ray Bourque. That before Joe even raised the cup, he received the cup from the commissioner. Before he even raised the cup over his head, he went to Ray Bourque and gave it to Ray Bourque so he could be the first Avalanche player to lift the cup. And that's what happened. It was a marvelous moment. And after what was a year that was the goal all along, particularly after the loss the previous year in the playoffs to Dallas, that this was the goal all along, that they were able to complete that and get that goal met. It was a special, special moment.
When I was with the Broncos, the support staff, meaning everyone in the organization, radio crew, etc., all got championship rings. Did you?
Yes, I have a ring. We did get rings, which we appreciated very much. It was a special moment for sure. The fact that I was able to live through that season was the most important part of it. I enjoyed getting a ring, but the most important part of it was living through that season, enjoying the success, the ups and downs. You know, that you look back through the season, you've got to remember that Patrick Waugh set the mark for the most wins for a goaltender during the season. A game against the Washington Capitals, that was one thing that was special about that year. The Rob Blake trade was special. Bringing in a top defenseman was another key moment. All of this leading up to the championship and Raymond Bourque winning the cup for his very first time in his career. It was a very special year from a lot of perspective.
Wonderful.
And during these podcasts, I'm kind of known for asking an off-the-wall question. So the crazy questions wrap it up. After the TV show Cheers became popular, were there fans that would see you and liking the show just yell, "Norm"?
Absolutely. I've had that happen an awful lot because of the show. Absolutely. You couldn't be more correct on that, David. It's happened to me many, many times.
I just couldn't resist asking that.
Yeah, no, it's true though. It's something that I've become accustomed to because of Cheers.
Well, Norm, we appreciate you taking time out from your vacation to join us today.
It's always a pleasure, guys. Always a pleasure to be with all you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Norm.
You bet, Jimmy.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, Pasta J's at 10th and Pearl Street of the Downtown Boulder Mall, CU Sports Medicine, the Colorado Collegiate Chronicle, produced by occasional co-host and executive producer Tim Simmons, and the voice of the Buffaloes, Mark Johnson, for introducing each moment's number.
We do hope you're enjoying our podcasts, reminiscing with our trips down memory lane in the state's sports history. That's a wrap on our 39th podcast. A reminder that the Hall of Fame offers tours of its museum and the stadium, as well as Empower Field at Mile High.